Imagine you are with your family in your car, traveling. God forbid. It's a silent, deserted, and desolate road. Not a single soul for miles. And you are inside your car. Your car's headlights are on, and only in that light can you see anything at all. Beside that, if you look on both sides, total darkness. Your backlights are visible in your mirror, only that red glow, and darkness behind. Think, in such a state, you are moving along, and in front of your car, something suddenly passes, just for a few seconds, and you feel it. No one else notices. The whole family is normal, only you have seen something, and this thought enters your mind that there is something following us. Imagine the state of fear. You're alone with your family on a deserted road. There are some stories like this that people share with me about terrifying incidents that they have faced, which I share with you. If you also want to share a story, God forbid, if something similar has happened to you, there is an email in my description. You can send me your story by writing it. So let's move to the story. If you feel scared, please recite the prayers. If possible, don't listen to the story if you get scared easily. But if you still want to listen, please recite prayers. If possible, don't listen alone. Listen with family or friends. Because it is said that when we mention these entities, they take great interest and start coming very close to us. So you don't feel scared. Read prayers. Let's move towards our story. Assalamu alaikum was. My name is Faraz, and what I am about to tell you, if it hadn't happened to me, perhaps I wouldn't have believed it myself. My wife and I have gone camping many times. Nathia Gali, Peer Sohawa, every place. We never had any problem. With that confidence, one day we made a plan to camp in an inner part of Bakhandi Top, where fewer people go, no noise or crowds. Someone told us about that place, that it's a very beautiful spot. The plan was made, and our dog Oreo was with us, who is black and white in color. That's why we called him Oreo. He is very obedient and, most importantly, doesn't bark for no reason. Whenever he barks, it means something is there. We reached around Asar. We took the car a bit inside, where trees were a bit sparse and an old fire pit was visible. Perhaps someone had lit a fire there before. On the other side, a single slope, dense forest behind, view of the hills in front. I took out the tent. My wife started setting things up. Oreo jumped out of the car and immediately started sniffing here and there. Sometimes soil, sometimes bushes, sometimes air, as if checking. We thought that at night we would light a fire. Then I dialed a number which was given to me by the same person who told me about this place. He said that a local there will provide you with wood for the bonfire at night. And if you need to order anything, he can help you. I called that number. Brother, we're camping at Bakhandi Top. Can we get wood? And I also need some rotis. From the other side, a heavy voice came. Yes, He'll get them. I'll come up on the motorcycle in a little while. I thought, okay, it'll be easy to get it from a local. I also asked him for rotis because we planned that we would make curry tonight. Almost after Maghrib, when it was slightly dark, we had set the tent. Then, after a while, the sound of a motorcycle came. Oreo immediately stood straight up, ears up, but he didn't bark, just kept watching. A middle aged man, beard slightly grown, shalwar kameez, and an old jacket. On the back of the motorcycle, two bundles of wood were tied, and on the other side, a shopper with hanging rotis. He stopped near us, took off his helmet, looked at us carefully, then said with a smile, "Have you people come from the city?" I said, "Yes, we've come from Islamabad." He unloaded the wood. I paid him. He remained silent for a moment, then slowly said, "Brother, can I ask you one thing?" I said, "Yes, ask." He says, "Will you people stay here all night?" I said, "Yes, that's the plan. Returning in the morning." He stood silent for a moment, looking towards the forest, as if thinking something. Oreo was standing behind him, sniffing. But the strange thing was, he stayed silent. He stayed slightly behind the man, not going close, as if he had more of a problem with the atmosphere behind the man. The local man looked at me again and said in a serious tone, "Look, I don't want to scare you, but listen to one thing. This place is beautiful by day, but at night, strange things come out. You might face some other entities at night." My wife immediately asked, "Which entities?" He laughed a bit, but there was seriousness in that laugh. "We call them jinns. Look, if you people want to stay the night here, then listen. Don't go too far from the tent. Don't let the fire die out. And if you hear voices at night, don't answer them. And don't go outside." I tried to lower his fear by laughing. "Brother, we just want to spend a quiet night. We won't call or bother anyone." He didn't smile at all. In fact, he got more serious. "I just told you for caution. I'll go down past here after Fajr. If you're still here, I'll meet you. Otherwise, it's okay. But don't go here and there at night." Saying this, he started the bike and went down. As soon as he left, Oreo took a very long breath again and started looking at the forest. My wife said, "I found that man strange. People here don't say such things just to scare." I laughed it off, but somewhere inside, I felt that the man wasn't joking. We lit the fire. With the sound of wood crackling, we felt a bit of peace. It was cold now. And the place we had selected was a very lovely meadow, surrounded by dense pine tree forest. I made tea. My wife started preparing the food. Ori would sometimes come lie near us and sometimes suddenly get up and look at the forest. The specific thing was, he was looking in one direction, always toward one side, as if there's something in that part. I once said, repeat, as if something in that part. I once said angrily, "Oreo, come here, nothing is there." He came, but a few minutes later, he started staring that way again. We sat down to eat. Just as we took the first bite, Oreo stood up. He didn't bark or howl, just stood straight, staring behind the leaves. My wife said softly, "Faraz, I am not feeling good." He never acts like this. I also got a bit alert. I grabbed the light, got up from the fire, and moved a bit forward. Not too far, just 7 or 8 inches to where the trees began. I stopped. Firelight was coming from behind. It wasn't completely dark in front, just a light, dark green shade. I stood there for a few seconds. Then I heard a whispering sound, deep from within the throat, like someone was talking very quietly to another. I couldn't understand the words, but it sounded like two people were talking, or someone was explaining to another. No one was on either side, just trees, yet the sound was coming from a single point. My hand holding the light trembled. Oreo came up from behind and stood with me. But he didn't bark. His whole body was in tension. Hair standing, tail straight, breathing fast. I took a step back. The whispers stopped for a moment, then started again. Louder this time, as if someone is angry that we were listening. I immediately turned and came back to the fire. My wife asked fearfully, "What was this? Who was there?" It. I didn't give a straight answer. Nothing. Maybe the wind in the trees is making that sound. But in my heart, I knew it wasn't the wind. We put the phone on a stand to play a movie, tried to normalize the atmosphere. Wife said, "We just have to spend night here until morning. I don't want us to leave everything and run now." I agreed. Apparently, the mood lightened a bit, but from inside, we were both scared. Oreo was now sitting near the fire, but he constantly stared at one spot, sometimes narrowing his eyes, sometimes making a low sound from his nose as if "I'm watching you." Suddenly, a small stone fell near our tent. It felt like someone threw it by hand. I jumped up, shone the light all around. No one. I sat down again. Then, after a while, a second stone. This time closer. The cup almost slipped from my wife's hand. I said angrily, "If some local kid is playing pranks, I'll catch him right now." Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. I had asked that local man, "How far is the nearest population?" He said, "Very far from here. You're camping in a very desolate area. Keep my number for safety. God forbid any problem occurs, call me." So, back to the story. I moved forward with the light, but as far as I went, sounds came from behind, as if someone was circling around our camp, but nothing was visible. Oreo now started barking in full alert position, though there was fear in his barking. He wasn't going forward, he just stood between us and that darkness, and he was barking as if stopping us and them as well. Then suddenly, a large stone hit right beside the tent. The tent shook, the rope swung. My wife screamed. I shone the light with all my might towards the stone where it came from, and I clearly saw two shining eyes among the trees, not like an animal at all. They were much higher up, like the eyes of a tall human. But there was a strange alienness in that glow of eyes, as if they weren't afraid of the light, but were enjoying looking at us. I froze for a moment. Oreo started barking like crazy, but my legs wouldn't move. A few seconds later, those eyes slowly slipped behind a nearby branch to the tree, but nobody was visible. Just the eyes, and then vanished. I ran back to the fire. My wife started crying. My wife said cryingly. Fraz, please, this wasn't a normal thing. We should leave now. I said, It's night. It's a mountain path. Descending is also dangerous. We both were silent. Just the sound of the fire, the light sound of the movie on the phone, and and Oreo's heavy breathing after barking. I remembered the local man's word. If sound came, don't answer. Don't go here and there. Don't let the fire die out. I immediately put wood into the fire. The flame rose higher. For a while, everything was okay. We both sat silently, even stopped the movie. After a while, we clearly felt someone walking around the tent. Sound of leaves being crushed, ropes shaking. Someone, sometimes on the left, sometimes on the right, like 3 or 4 people, were slowly circling the camp. My wife said softly, This is the noise of footsteps like people, right? I gave a low answer. Yes, but the problem is, if they were humans, they would have come forward by now. We decided to sit near the fire for a while and not go inside the tent. But fatigue and failure together forced us to go inside the tent. And the cold was too much. We added more wood to the fire so it wouldn't burn for a while and went inside the tent. I zipped the tent completely, and Oreo was inside with us. As soon as we lay down, a shadow fell on the tent fabric. You know, right? From inside the tent, a shadow from outside looks a bit blurred. It was like that, but it wasn't like a human standing there. It was much taller. The head was tilted to one side, and something was strange, like someone's neck was straight but crooked. My wife said in a trembling voice, Faraz, this isn't human. The shadow didn't move at all, just stood there. Oreo started growling in a muffled voice, but didn't go near the tent door. He stayed behind us, like he didn't want to go in front. A few seconds pressed like this. Then the shadow moved a bit away from the tent, but no sound of the steps came. Just first one side, then the other, like something was sliding along, not walking. I told myself there would definitely be the sound of the feet. We were sitting inside the tent. Lights were off, only the dim screen of the phone was on. Suddenly, from outside, came a very faint but clear voice.
Frost.
A current ran through my body. The voice was very heavy, but it was my name. Clearly, my wife immediately got up. No one knows your name here. We haven't talked to anyone except that man, I said in a low voice. Don't speak. Don't answer. And Oreo started barking loudly. For the first time, anger was mixed with fear in his bark. He was trying to come near the zip, but it was as if from outside pushed the tent slightly inward. The zip side moved inward, as if someone from outside had placed their whole palm and pressed. My wife cried, They know us. For us, they can take our names. They are not human. From outside again came the same voice, but different this time. Our dog's name, exactly, but with a strange stretch, like a human was saying this for the first time, couldn't match tone, but saying every word very carefully. And Oreo went mad. He was in a state to tear it apart. I held him and stopped him. He was constantly trying to get out, like someone had challenged him. At this point, I understand one thing. If we stay here any longer, we will either go crazy or one of us will get hurt. I said to my wife, Enough. We won't stay here now. Whatever happens, we'll see. We quickly came out of the tent. Oreo came out and immediately ran towards the bushes on the left. I also dialed that Logan person's number. For some reason, the call wasn't connecting. Maybe a signal issue? I thought, let him come so we can get some help. Oreo came out and immediately ran left towards the bushes and barked in a voice that I had never heard from him before. I shone the light, and what I saw this time, maybe words cannot fully describe, but I will try. Between the trees, behind two or three trunks, were three separate shadows, very tall, like 7 or 8 feet. Basic human shapes had shoulders, arms, but instead of standing straight, they were slightly hunched or tilted, like someone made the spine backwards. Eyes and hair weren't visible, just a very deep shadow. But one entity's had turned slightly to one side and then came back as if he was inspecting the car. I didn't tell my wife to look fully. She was already in a state of breakdown. We left some gear in the forest, just picked the essentials, bags, mobiles, important things, and we will see about rest later. When I went running towards the car, I felt clearly that someone was walking at our speed. Behind us, no sound of steps, but the sound of dry branches breaking, bushes rustling, and after a few steps, the sound of Oreo's angry barking. I don't know why, but I turned back to look. Honestly, I only saw a shadow that was sliding through the bushes. It wasn't running, just slipping along. We somehow just got the car out from there. Oreo was half hanging out of the car back seat, barking. I slammed the door shut and started the car. As the car moved forward, the burden on my chest was increasing instead of decreasing. I felt as if those things were coming along with us. Let me tell you, my car is 4x4 and a normal car cannot come to this place. This was an off road route that we had to cover by car. Therefore, the car couldn't go fast in that spot either. In one place, on that path, there was a long grass when the headlights fell on that grass. For 2 moments, I saw it clearly. A tall shadow was standing right behind the road, without moving, just with his head turned towards us. And as soon as the light fell directly on it, it ducked and vanished into the grass, as if the earth had swallowed it. Oreo started barking like crazy again. My wife closed her eyes and kept reciting holy verses. A few minutes later, an open part of the road came. Trees were left behind, and in the lights, only the road, wet soil, and minor grass was visible. Wind hit the car windows. Oreo took a long breath for the first time and sat on the back seat looking down, as if confirming that the shadow is gone now. By the time we reached home, it was nearly Fajr. We were both physically exhausted, but mentally broken. I stopped the car outside. The Oreo got down and, unlike normal days, ran straight inside the house gate. Instead of lying in his usual spot, he lay with his back to the gate and faced towards the inside of the house, as if he also wanted to cut off from the outside world. For the next day, he was very subdued. He refused to go out, and if there was darkness, instead of going there, he would look at us as if saying, "They are right where the darkness is deepest." Even today, when I look towards Bakhandi Top, only one thought comes: we made a mistake by not taking the locals' warning seriously. They weren't familiar with the humans there, but with the entities of that place. And one thing I can say with complete certainty: whatever was there that night, It wasn't an animal, definitely not the human. They were jinns, who perhaps just wanted to tell us the area belongs to them. We were just guests, and without permission, we came very far inside. So, this was my story. I hope you will definitely share it on your channel. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us. Guys, if you like this story, kindly subscribe to this channel and support this new channel if you want to see more stories like this.